Hey everybody, I'm Lycan. I just started this new YouTube channel where I'm going to be talking about books, a lot of books, and for this video I'm focusing on the books that I read in the month of November. I read a total of 13 books across like quite a few genres. I definitely tend towards like horror, fantasy, weird, strange, sad books with a dash of like romance and cozy mysteries. So I'm gonna get started. The first book that by the way, if you see me looking down at the bottom of the screen, it's because I'm looking at my notebook. It tells me all the things that I want to talk about. But yeah, so first up is The House of Roots and Ruin by Erin A. Craig. This is book 2 in the series The Sisters of the Salt. And this book, I don't want to give too much away, because if you haven't read the first one, this second one is a lot of spoilers about how the first one went. But this story follows our main character, Verity, who is the youngest of the Sisters of the Sultan House of Salt space. The region is called Sultan, and their like estate, manor, mansion, what have you, is called Highmore. Verity, our main character, starts off by staying in Highmore. She's been there her whole life, and she is about to turn 18, and she really wants to just make her own way in life and be somewhere else than Highmore, even though her older sister, Camille, who runs Highmore, is like, no, it's not safe out there for you. But Verity is determined, and she runs away from Highmore to Chantilly, and she was asked to go there to paint a portrait of these folks that like run Chantilly's son, Alexander. And yeah, pretty much from like showing up, things feel a little off. And even though she is becoming a little bit smitten with Alexander, there is something dark, secrets a brewing, mayhem at Chantilly. And so that's book 2. I am enjoying the series. It's definitely weird. It kind of has like a slow build, but like very gothic-y, slow build, atmospheric, and then action. So if you like a slow build that kind of just keeps you really like immersed and like drawn in to the like building that she's in, the like mansion, the city, just all these like ghostly vibes, you might enjoy it. Next up, Mary Ventura and the Ninth Kingdom by Sylvia Plath. This is a very short book. I don't even know if it's like 20 pages, so I don't want to give too much away, but it's about our main character, Mary Ventura. She is basically like shoved out the door to get on this train. Her parents are like, you have to go, it's time. And she's like, I don't really want to go, but like, I guess you're like shoving me on here, so I'm gonna get on. And she sits down on the train, and she meets this older woman. And from there, it is like weird, spooky fever dream. I'm leaving it at that. Next, got The Dead Take the A Train by Cassandra Khaw and Richard Kadrey. This is my first book with Richard Kadrey. I don't have like any like former experience reading from him. But with Cassandra Khaw, I have read, I think, A Salt Grows Heavy, which is about like a mermaid, and a plague doctor traveling together. Mayhem. And so that's A Salt Grows Heavy. Whereas this one is a longer book, Dead Take the A Train. It is about Julie Cruz, who is this like kind of like what they call a psychic operative, and she is kind of at the bottom of the barrel. She will take any like gritty, nasty job just to make some money, and she takes the jobs that like other folks don't want to do, and a lot of that entails like killing demons that are really just nasty. There's a lot of blood and guts in this book. If you are squeamish about that, I don't recommend it. If you are into it, like I am, it's great. But yeah, so this book follows Julie Cruz, and she is just trying to make ends meet. She's doing all these nasty, dirty jobs, and she just recently went through a breakup, and she's just trying to manage her finances and her addictions the best that she can. And she decides like, okay, I think I have a solution to like getting myself more money or like finding more success, and summons the support of a guardian angel. But are they? Yeah. So yeah, blood, guts, queer representation, badassery. Next up, so I'm gonna kind of put 4 books together. This is the like cozy mystery series. It's the Great Witch's Baking Show, and I read 4 in the month of November. And I recommend, for like, I know in a lot of cozy mystery series you can kind of like bop around, you don't have to go in like chronological order, but I recommend, like, if you do really enjoy cozy mysteries and you want to give this series a try, I recommend starting from the beginning and going from there, because there is kind of like a longer plot that is about our main character, Poppy. She finds out she's a witch, and she is trying to figure out where she came from. She was adopted, and she just wants to find out who her biological parents are, and her evidence or like whisperings of like possibility direct her towards this Great British Baking Show competition. And it's a lot of fun. There's definitely the like competition show elements in the books, and that's great. So if you enjoy that show, this is a fun series for that. And then also includes this like witch trying to like hone her skills and magic abilities, and there is like a murder in each book that she is trying to solve. So yeah, I enjoyed the series. I have read like another, it was the Vampire Knitting Club series by Nancy Warren, and again, silly, fun time, witches, some supernatural bits, and then murders. Fun. Next, have The Ninth Reign by Jen Williams. This is the first book in a fantasy series. It's called the Winnowing Flame trilogy, and I loved it. I am a huge fan of the Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin, and there's not much that tops that series for me, but the Ninth Reign, so good. Really strong start. I can sometimes get overwhelmed if there's like fantasy series that have like way too many POVs, but this didn't make me feel any of that. We follow kind of like 3-ish main characters. One is Tourmaline the Oathless, and he's kind of like this vampire-esque, immortal-esque, human-ish person, and they are known for their beauty and their immortality, and they have this great big tree that they consider like a god, and they would drink the sap from that tree, and that would keep them in good health. That tree at the beginning of the book is allegedly dead, and so they're kind of like defenseless. The Tourmaline's people are like dying out in like this really horrid way, and he's just like, I need to get out of this land and just go somewhere else. And like I don't want to just stand around here and die horribly. If I'm going to die horribly, I want to like go do some things and hang out. So yeah, Tourmaline, he gets employed by this like middle-aged explorer named Vintage. She has a lot of money. She is trying to figure out more about this like otherworldly creatures called the Jurlia, and they're like these wild like worm spider floating devour creatures that visit this land and just like wreak havoc, kill everything in sight, and then cover it in this like slime that hardens, and you can like look down in the slime and there's just like people floating in there stuck. And so this explorer lady, Vintage, she wants to find out more about the Jurlia. And so Tourmaline is like hired by her as like a bodyguard, and they're a really great duo. And then they meet a Fell Witch, and Fell Witch are considered to be really evil. They're hated by most everyone in this land. And they have these like winnowing flame powers. And this flame is also like taken from them to be used in like drug manufacturing, whereas they're kind of like kept in prison and tortured for like once they're found out for like their entire lives. Yeah, so it's basically these three folks with some side characters, and they're just trying to figure out what do they do with this like dead god tree, these like weird worm devouring spider like what have yous coming after the land, and mayhem. Next up, My Roommate is a Vampire by Jenna Levine. Romance, pretty fun with the vampire aspect. I'm not a super huge fan of romance, but I did enjoy this one. It is about our main character, Cassie, who's like a struggling artist. She is getting like kicked out of her apartment. She needs to find a place to stay. She decides to like agree to like move in with this person whose like rent is like too good to be true, $200 a month. Yeah, right. But Cassie's like, well, I'm desperate. So she moves in. And lo and behold, there's something strange about this young man, Frederick Fitzwilliam. What could it be? But yeah, it was fun. Fairly low stakes. Definitely some like fun snarkiness in there. If you like romance, I recommend it. Next, we have What Stalks Among Us by Sarah Hallowell. This one, if you like time slips and like the Groundhog Day, like just over and over, but like horror, getting stuck in a corn maze and not being able to get out, and you just keep having to like redo the corn maze over and over. If you like that kind of thing, you might really like this book. It's strange. It is like a nail biter. These two best friends decide to like ditch high school for the day, and they find this giant corn maze, and they're like, oh yes, and they go into this corn maze and they are stuck. They cannot find their way out, and that is when they find their first dead body, and the dead body is one of them. Need I say more? Last two. We've got Dead Voices by Katharine Arden. This is book 2 in the like Small Spaces quartet or series. And I read Small Spaces like I think just in October. and I really enjoy this series. It starts off with our main character, Ollie. She is dealing with, you know, the loss of a parent, and she's kind of really like isolating herself, and she is on this school trip. In the first book, she's on this school trip, and their bus breaks down, and she looks out the window, and it looks like the scarecrows out there in the field are like moving around. And you guessed it, mayhem. Book 2, similar, but this takes place in like an isolated like ski lodge resort where they're like the only guests. And so yeah, Ollie and her friends are stuck in a blizzard at the ski resort. A journalist shows up and says, hey, this place is haunted, and mayhem. I am really enjoying this series. I plan on reading the like other 2 books pretty soon, and yeah, it's just a lot of fun. It's cute, it's heartwarming, and there's some scary moments. And last up, The Halloween Moon by Joseph Fink. This is about our main character, Esther. She loves Halloween, like loves Halloween. She is like strategizing all year how she's going to have like the best costume, how she's going to like get the most candy. And yeah, just so into Halloween. And her parents this year tell her, hey, actually, you're not gonna trick or treat anymore. Like, you're too old. We're done with you having your time out there on Halloween. Which of course Esther's like, no, that's not gonna work for me. So she sneakily decides to go trick or treating anyway, and suddenly all of the adults fall asleep and children are missing. So now it's up to Esther to figure out like what is going on. And so it's really kind of putting a like damper on her night of trick-or-treating. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. It was fun. If you enjoy like Halloween and like campy Halloween and Halloween excitement and trick-or-treating stories, yeah. So that's it. That's what I read in the month of November. I am currently working through In Every Generation by Kendara Blake, and it is like a Buffy the Vampire Slayer TV show like continuation, but with the main character Frankie Rosenberg, which is Willow's daughter. I am almost done with that, so that'll definitely be in a December wrap-up. Let me know in the comments, like, what are some of your favorite books that you read in the month of November. And yeah, thanks for watching my first YouTube video. Bye.